Hello, this is Jerry Norton, and I'm out here today in Boise, Idaho, and I'm out at Al Kirby's property. This is one of his fix and flips, and if you don't know Al, he's one of our coaches, and this is one of his fix and flip projects. And I'm traveling in town today, so Al and I met up, and Al's showing me around some of his deals he's doing and projects he's working on. And so this is his house right here, and Al, I'm going to have Al kind of tell us what's going on, what he's done here, and we're going to take a look at it. Sound good, Al? As we walk through this house, our lighting's a little dark. We'll make the best of it. We've actually got our first stories on this side. We got a big open bedroom, high ceiling. We had to do a lot of framing in here. A lot of times it's easier just to get rid of all of this. So when we bought this house, 1968 vintage, nothing had ever been done to it. It had 3 huge trees, one at each corner of the house. They were clear up past the house, those big huge bush-style trees. It had nice red brick front, all old original aluminum frame windows. We put a roof on it, re-landscaped the yard, put rock in. We'll be putting sod in before we list it. Brand new windows. And we went ahead and painted the brick over to make it look a little more updated than what it did with the old red brick. Looks nice. And we'll probably be done sometime in the next week and get it on the market. What's the square footage? It's just under 1,200 square feet. Okay. And what are you shooting to get out of it on a sale? So we're looking at between 130 and 140 on a sale. Nice. Okay. Good deal. You want to take us inside? Yeah, brand new driveway, brand new sidewalk. So you did a lot to the outside. Yes, a lot of facelift on the outside. Yeah, it's got great curb appeal. When all this grass, this will all be grass. Neighbors are all very happy. I bet. What was here for the driveway? Just busted up concrete? Really nasty, messed up concrete. Yeah. It was all broken up, and by the time the renters who were in here before cleared the junk out, we needed a new driveway. Now, was this the one you were telling me about that was full of stuff? No. Oh, that was a different one. Different one. So we just had carpet put in yesterday, and you can see that we're not completely done with everything else, but we're getting close. Granite countertops. We use a local cabinet supplier. This is Natural Ash. Natural Ash. That looks really nice. One of their entry-level cabinets. You did the crown on the top too. They put crown in. We pay about $68 a box plus $45 install for these cabinets. That backsplash looks awesome. This is glass mosaic backsplash that we picked up at Home Depot. We're just about done with the backsplash. This is Tropic Brown granite. It's a pretty common granite that's been out there for quite a few years. Goes good with the carpet too. Goes good with the carpet. The flooring in this house is interesting because it looks like ceramic tile. But this is not ceramic? This is not ceramic tile. It's a linoleum, or what is it? This is actually groutable vinyl that comes in squares like this. And we're using a variety that's peel and stick, but they have the glue down as well. And it comes with a beveled edge. It's even got a real hard surface to it. It's better than ceramic because it will take up the variations in the floor. And yet, it's not cold like ceramic is. So you don't have to put a subfloor down? It'll lay on anything? It's supposed to go on plywood. It's supposed to go on real wood. Mm-hmm. We've been putting it on particle board, clean particle board. It's not warranted for that, but I don't know of anybody in my market that's putting on anything other than particle board as subfloor. So that's what we've been doing for our flooring. It has all the look that you would expect from ceramic tile without the cost. We pay about 85 cents a foot for the tile plus installation. What's labor? A couple bucks? I've been doing my own installation, unfortunately, so I don't know what. Yeah. I had agreed on $2 a foot with a guy who has done some install for me. So you're talking, $7-8 for tile, labor and material. Less. You're less than half that. Even if you include the particle board underlayment, which you tend to have to add, it's still significantly less. And that's, in a $140,000, $130,000 house,
Oh,
this is perfect.
We've used this. This is the third house we've used it in, and we've had no complaints.
Everybody likes it.
The biggest issue with it is you got to make sure the house is hot when you put it down, so it sticks well.
Now, and you did this variation with these other colors, like just sporadic.
Just to accent it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it tends to be just this blob of a color. So we try to accent that a little bit, and it really works good with the cabinets and break up the color.
And so, what did you pay for this dishwasher, stove, microwave combo?
So, dishwasher, stove, microwave combo in this house, we paid right at $1,000 for it delivered.
That's amazing. $1,000, guys, for material.
This is not typical. Usually I've been getting a match set, but in this house we ended up with a little bit mismatched. We've got a Whirlpool range. We've got an LG microwave, and we just took the decals off of it so that it's not identified.
Yeah.
And it actually looks fine.
Oh, yeah.
It's stainless. Nobody's going to realize.
No one's going to care.
And we picked up this Amana on one of the doorbusters at RC Willey on their holiday doorbuster a couple weeks ago. Picked it up for $300. So $200 for the microwave, $200 for the $300 for the dishwasher, and $500 for the range.
That's awesome.
Slightly damaged range, but no one will ever know.
Yeah, it's hidden wherever it is because you don't see it. And what'd you pay for your cabinets?
Cabinet package, including the one bathroom, was $4,100 for this house installed.
And you don't do the fridge.
And we leave the fridge hole open. Yeah.
You ever put it in, or is it hit and miss? Or
we've only put one fridge in, and that was in a high-end home that we sold for $350,000.
Yeah. But you always want to put. It's always good to put your other 3 in because otherwise it just looks too many gaps and holes.
You have to. Any buyer that comes in without those in is going to think the house is incomplete. The lighting package in the house came entirely from Home Depot. It's their contractor special lighting, and it really looks pretty good.
And it matches, right? These are all the same.
These are all in the same family. The pendants and the chandelier are all in the same family of lights.
Same with the fan?
The fan is not specifically, except it's Hampton Bay, which is Home
looks
Depot's
pretty close.
brand, and it's a brushed or an oil rub bronze. It's a dark finish. They're really nice fans.
And
I've used them multiple times.
Do you always do white trim indoors with a tan? Some sort of tan?
Pretty consistently, we've been doing a sort of a tan white, off-white for the doors and trim, and darker walls.
And then the ceiling's also, it's not brilliant white, but it's a lighter color.
We use the same as on the trim for our
ceiling.
ceiling.
You do? Okay.
And the only reason we did the ceiling in this part of the house is because it's a low ceiling. It's just an 8-footer. It's not vaulted. All of the bedrooms are just painted the wall color.
Okay. So you just did that in this room in here. And that saves some money, right? Because otherwise it's two-tone everywhere.
Yeah. I paid a little extra for the ceiling, but not tremendously.
And what is this carpet? It's do you remember?
I don't remember much about the carpet.
It's a nice color though.
It's a nice entry-level carpet. We put 6-pound pad underneath it.
I mean, it really pops with the.
It looks really good.
With the trim, right, and the white doors.
It looks really good.
And then you do what, a brushed nickel on the hardware?
Oil rub bronze on all the hardware. It's all black hardware. We tend to like that better.
It just looks so modern and trendy, right?
It pops. The brushed nickel, although it's coming back in with a lot of things, it doesn't have the same contrast feel.
Yeah.
And so you don't get the same, I'll say, emotional reaction from somebody when they look at it.
With brushed nickel?
With brushed nickel, it's sort of blah, right?
Versus this is
the black.
The black, gotcha.
The ORB. The same with the lighting in the house. The only place in the house we don't go with the Aura bronze is in the bathrooms. We go with brushed nickel for bathroom fixtures because the cost difference between the bathroom fixture of oil rub bronze and brushed nickel is huge.
Oh yeah.
It's a step function. It's not a slight increase. It's significant.
And these fixtures versus like the crappy gold chrome or whatever are how much more? Cost the same. And it's so much better looking.
These are 2 bulb. Buy them in a 2-pack at Home Depot for around $20, so they're about $10 a fixture.
Yeah.
And they look sharp.
Which the gold is like 1990, right? And this looks so much modern.
You can't leave any polished brass in your house.
No.
Any polished brass makes
gotta
it dated.
So you got doors still coming in here?
After we put the carpet in, we got to trim all the bottoms off. And so that's one of those things. We actually updated, and we don't always do this. We updated all of the receptacles and lights or switches in this house. They were all almond, and they were all 1968. So the plugs, your plug-in fell out and everything. These are the new TR that's required by code, so they're all tamper-resistant plugs.
They look awesome with the.
And it really pops.
Yeah, with the trim.
Really pops.
And then are these all new doors too? They look like all new doors.
So all the doors are new, but
Six
we did
panel.
not replace the jambs.
Oh, you left the jams?
We left the jambs, so we just did the slabs, and we actually got the slabs on sale. They were $20 a slab.
Okay, and it looks like different granite in here.
So different granite in here. This is a remnant I had left from another project.
Okay.
And it's still earth tones.
Same cabinet though, right?
Same cabinets.
Matching cabinet.
So matching cabinets.
And you did an insert, right?
We did a full tub insert, and in this bathroom we completely reconfigured it. The tub used to be sitting over here where the toilet is, along this wall.
Okay.
The tub shower, and the toilet was where the shower is, and it had a full window in it.
Oh.
And the reason we changed the configuration is that now this door here enters into the master bedroom.
Oh, so now it's because this is just a one bath.
There's a 3/4 on the other end of the house.
Okay, but now you can call this a master
It's a
in
master
essence.
suite now, even
Yeah.
though it's also the main bath.
That's awesome.
And
So you added that door by redesigning your
Yes.
bathroom, and it looks better this way too.
There's more space. It's more functional. We were able, since we were doing some exterior work and dealing with the window, we brought in a single piece enclosure.
Now, do you ever tile backsplash?
So I've done tile in the past.
Mm-hmm.
What we find is this is about a $350 enclosure, and when I tile, it costs me $1,000.
And it's faster doing this too.
It's faster, and we have not been able to see a huge difference in the market.
Now again, you've done. Yeah, I was just going to say you've done very well with understanding what price point you're at and what you can get away with and what you can't get away with. Because at $300,000, you wouldn't get away without that being tile, right?
The high-end home we did up in one of the other communities here, we put travertine in, not just straight tile. We put full travertine.
So you even went above that.
Everywhere. So,
yeah.
Yes, it's all about price point.
So that's new window up there too?
New window.
Yeah. Which is great because you get some more light in here.
Yeah, and it's a smaller window than it used to be. It used to be a full 3030, 3-foot square window there. But when we moved the shower to that wall, this is very standard in new homes. So this actually makes it look more modern almost because of this little window.
Yeah, and even though that slides open, it looks like you still needed your exhaust.
We put an exhaust
fart
fan in.
Yeah.
It probably wasn't required, but we added.
Okay.
We made sure we added that.
Yeah. And so then this here would be the master.
And here's the master bedroom.
Yep, and you went with a higher end light in here, or just a nicer light.
It's actually a remnant I had left from another job, the same place the granite came from, a house we worked on that we took some stuff out of, and so a little fancier fixture.
It makes it a little nicer being the master.
Yeah, exactly. New windows in here, of course.
These are vinyl windows. What are you paying for windows? These windows?
This window package, I paid about 15, 16, just under $1,700 for it. But
how many are there? 12 or?
Well, the biggest issue is there's a huge picture window and then a slider, and the slider is what?
That was a big cost.
$500 by itself.
And I noticed here that you didn't trim out your windows, which again, price point doesn't call for that,
so these
right?
windows, as annoying as they are, they have the old L metal. This is the kind of stuff they used to use years ago. It's just sheetrock edge L metal, and it's pine sills. I don't like the look of it. But it was going to cost us, easily $100 or $200 an opening to fix that, because you got to rip out all the old pine, rip out the L metal.
To what? Put a ledge on it?
To either rewrap it. We would have just done drywall wrap.
Yeah.
And maybe put a sill on, but we put sills and rewrapped the front out in the other part of the house, but we didn't in the bedrooms because we didn't feel there was a return on our dollars spent.
Yeah.
So we left it that way.
Now, so sometimes you can not trim it out, but you could still put a sill in that's maybe white and matches your base or whatever.
We could have put a sill in here. One of the challenges is you end up with a spacing issue with the height of the window here.
Oh, right.
So we would have had to probably take out what's here, put the sill in, and then fix the drywall mess you make. This is L metal, and it actually comes clear down to here, and so when you tear it off, you've got a mess on your wall.
Yeah, and again, it's not going to bring you a return.
Absolutely no return at this price
So
point.
leave it. Now, do you put window treatments in ever? Probably again at this price point, don't need to.
People are so eclectic about what they want for window treatment. Some people are okay with the 1-inch, the old 1-inch aluminum or vinyl window shades. And some people want 2-inch, and some people want the insulated. We just don't. We don't put it in because there's no point in it. People.
And now you wouldn't stage this house, would you? You're thinking about it?
We'll probably do a partial stage.
Couple things.
Be, a little furniture in the living room and kitchen area to sort of fill that space out. Being the way the floor plan is, it's sort of an open living space. You sort of got to give people an idea of what it looks like.
Yeah.
What it's going to look like with their furniture there.
But you wouldn't put anything in the bedrooms or anything?
I'm not going to
beds or
anything.
anything?
We've done some of that in the past, and we just don't see that there's a big difference. One of the other things we didn't do in this house is we did not put bifolds in the bedrooms. In the bed.
What's going to go here then?
They're bypass doors.
Sliders,
which was very common in years gone by. Again,
cost savings there?
A couple $100. It's between $100 and $200 an opening by the time you buy the materials and have a trim carpenter come in and fix it. We just didn't think there was return, and we thought by just painting the wood old nasty wood stained doors, by painting those and cleaning them up. And it really does look clean in here with the doors on.
What's great about this property, Al, that you're doing here is, flipping houses, it really is understanding your buyer and designing a house with your buyer in mind, understanding your price point, because the biggest problem that we all have done, and if you haven't done deals before, at some point you run into is either you don't spend enough, so you under-renovate, but what most of us do is we over-renovate. We get in and we start adding, and next thing you know, we're doing all these things that don't really bring a return.
Yep.
So there's that fine line.
And here's a place where we spent money that I didn't want to spend money. This house had an old 60 amp power electrical service, and I didn't want to replace that thing for nothing. But we realized the panel was outdated, and we couldn't even buy breakers to put in if we wanted to. We ended up upgrading to a 200 amp service. Cost me $500, $600, $700 by the time I bought materials and had my electrician do it.
Yeah.
But ultimately, any home inspector
it's going to get flagged on the sale.
Any credibility at all would have flagged that.
Right. So you'd be fixing it anyway, and it's cheaper to do it while you got your electrician in here anyway.
We were pulling a permit. It's now included in the main permit. It's done, and you go, well, I probably won't see dollar for dollar return, but it's something you sort of had to do.
Sure.
We ended up putting new siding on the outside of this house. It's another issue where it had started to warp pretty badly, and we knew that an inspector is going to see it and say, hey, there's water damage in that wall, or there's some issues with it, you better fix it. And we just cleaned it up so it's gone.
And the thing to keep in mind is that, an inspector, for their $400 or $450 or whatever, their job to justify their costs is to find things that are wrong. And so they're looking to kill the sale is the way I look at it. Now, I don't know if that's intentionally or whatever. Some might think it is, but that's the way you got to look at it when you're doing things, is you got to say, okay, even if it looks okay or you can't visibly see an issue here, if there's an issue, an inspector's going to find it when your buyer comes through, and you're going to be fixing it then. It's going to cost you a lot more then than it is now.
You bet. That's exactly. The other issue is if you get a bunch of stuff on your home inspection, you lose credibility with the buyer, and they will often walk just based on that.
Because they think you're cutting corners.
They think you were trying to get away with something. And I mean, we've had that happen. We've had buyers walk for that exact reason. And I look at the home inspection as a final exam, like you took in college or in high school. You want the home inspection to come back with one or two really dumb things, and you go, oh, cool, we'll fix those.
Yeah.
Or you want there to be one decent-sized thing where you go, okay, yeah, I tried to cheap that out and didn't do it. But you don't want them to find more than one.
You don't want a laundry list, yeah.
The first couple of houses I turned, I remember getting the home inspection, and it was like the end of the world for me because I had failed my exam.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But
well, what else do you want to show us in this house that's noteworthy?
Other end of the house, one of the things we did in this house is get a full, well, not a full, but we added a 3/4 bath. It had a half bath before. And one of the things, if you've been around very long, you know that you got to be able to say 3-2 on the MLS. It's got to be a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Anything over a half bath is considered a full bath in our area.
Okay, so they don't call it a 3/4, they just will call it a...
It's going to be a 3-2 listing. And that is huge, folks, to getting people to come look at your house. So when we bought this house, this was all laundry area here.
Okay.
And we added this pantry. We took out the divider for the laundry area and added this pantry because in the process of redoing the kitchen, we took some walls out and took one upper out. There used to be a wall that ran right down the edge of where that island is, that would clear up to the ceiling, and there was an upper cabinet right next to the fridge. When we did away with that and added the island, we wanted to add some more storage, so we added this pantry here. We shortened up the laundry area to be just 5 feet, which is adequate for a washer and dryer.
Yeah.
We put a nice new cabinet over.
Nice. And matches too, so it looks aesthetically.
Sure, it looks the same. And then we moved the bathroom wall. This is a half bath here. We moved the bathroom wall.
It's good size too.
Out.
Oh, there's where your stand-up's going to go.
Yep, we moved the wall out. You can see here where the old wall used to be. So we moved it out about 12 inches, which was enough to put a 32 by 36 in how things change. So
yeah, so I got you back on now. So stand-up shower here, right? Here's your tile configuration.
Yep.
That's your floor tile.
There's the floor tile, and you always have to have a smaller piece cut for the floor because it has to flex because the floor is not flat. And then this happens to be the bullnose piece, but they're actually 10 by 14 tile.
And that's what it's going to be, that color.
And it'll be this color. And the 10 by 14 is a little bit different aspect ratio than the square ones we're used to, but it provides a little bit of a different character, which is sort of coming back in.
And you put a can up there to give it some light.
So there's a can light. Most of the time when you put a can light in there, you end up buying a can, which is about $8 to $10 for the cut-in can, and then you have to buy a lens. And if you buy a lens where you can put a decent-sized light bulb in there, it's about $25 for the glass lens, plus about $5 for a bulb. These are new retro LED lights.
Nice.
And incredibly bright.
Oh yeah,
for $30, and it goes on a standard electrical box. You just need any kind of a standard electrical box that thing will attach to. So the cost is significantly less, and it's easier, so it saves me in labor for my electrician as well.
And you got them on one switch, simple, both lights.
We always put towel rods in our house, and loops and toilet paper dispensers is just pretty...
finishing touch, right?
Yeah, a lot of the guys that I know in my area don't do this.
Mirrors too, right?
Yep, mirrors. We've actually got an oval mirror sitting on the floor. It hasn't gotten installed yet. But we've used this mirror quite a few times.
You like that one?
We really like it. It looks pretty sharp.
Yeah.
And if you were to see any of my other houses, you'd see that most of the finishing features in this house are exactly the same. We've used this.
Yeah, it works. Use it again and again.
You don't need to reinvent it every time. That's part of the beauty of doing it more than once is you actually start building up some consistency.
Right. Now, did you do anything to the back?
So the backyard was a mess. We put a full fence around.
Yeah, let's take a look at the fence. That's nice.
So we put a full fence around the yard. Neighbors shared cost of the fence along this side.
So they helped out, huh?
Yep.
That's great.
We ended up seeding the backyard mainly because it's shaded, and then we put some really shade-tolerant grass seed down. All the curbing is new. We actually had a storage shed over here that prevented us from getting a tractor in the backyard, so I sold the storage shed on Craigslist for $100. They came and hauled it away. We tend to use rock on our flower beds because it stays down. I've used bark in the past and it all blows away in the wind.
Yeah.
But,
nice little backyard. Private.
Yeah, it's really nice.
Private, mature trees. You got shade. This is great.
One of the other things I tend to do on most of my jobs is, you see this pile of metal?
This is scrap, huh?
It's all recycle.
Yeah.
We don't tend to throw stuff away if we can recycle it.
Now, will you make money with this?
Yeah, I'll actually sell this to the recycler. I'll get about between 7 and 10 cents a pound for the steel.
You are the master, Al, at maximizing your cost and...
The AC compressor, the old AC compressor there, I'll strip that apart and pull the core out, which I'll get, I don't remember what the return is, but I'll get a little more for the copper aluminum core.
Yeah.
But we do that consistently. Cardboard, towards the end of the job, I'll make a huge pile of cardboard. The garage is half full of cardboard right now because I can sell it. All the metal, anything that's metal, nails, screws, anything that's on the floor, I have buckets sitting around the job site.
Just make a pile of it, right?
Copper wire, anything that's metal gets saved and taken to recycle. For a typical job, $200-300 easily.
Easily, and that's just
and it's just
free money,
it's
right?
Gas money, folks.
Yeah.
I figure I usually put it in gas money to go back and forth to my job site.
That's awesome. Way to go, Al.
All the aluminum window frames went to recycle.
Yeah.
Because no one wants to buy old single-pane aluminum windows. So you break the glass out, strip the steel screws out, and you got clean aluminum.
Right.
So
now, do you got to put gutters on or no?
We are not putting gutters
okay.
in the back. We did around the front.
Okay. Looks good in the front.
Local code requires a gutter over hard surface, so we don't need a gutter here or there. And I just don't spend the money. A gutter costs me about $330 a foot.
Installed.
Installed.
Yeah.
Again, guys, when you work with the contractors over and over again, it's really sweet. I called the gutter guy and said, "Come out and do this." He came out, did an estimate, came out and put the gutter on. I didn't have to. They didn't need my help. They did what they're supposed to do, and they did a clean job of it.
That's the key. That's the key to having the right team players, right?
Yes.
All right, so let's wrap up here, Al. So what's your turnaround time on this house here, from start to finish? What are you hoping it'll all be?
So we purchased this. It closed December 31st, but we did not start working on this house until April.
Okay, because you had other stuff going on.
Because I had another house going on, and one of the challenges I face is that I can do a lot of the work, and so I tend to do too much of the work, which slows down the projects. But I don't have subs all the time doing it that I have to pay.
Yeah.
But we're in this mid-April. It should be listed next week, which means we're about 2 months in it.
Yeah.
And it will probably.
So that's pretty good.
It'll probably be under contract within 48 hours of listing.
Yeah.
And I expect to go to multiple offers.
That's awesome.
In general, we tend not to go to multiple offers. What we do is we play another game called, somebody comes in with an offer and you call them up and say, "Hey, we got 3 other offers on the table. Are you sure that's your final number?"
Yeah, play them.
And so we sort of play some of the offers against each other to see what kind of numbers
you
we
pull
can
out
get.
the most motivated buyer, that's for sure. Awesome. Well, this is a great project, Al. Really appreciate you spending the time going through, and more than anything, talking about your costs and some of the ideas here. And, this is fun, right? I mean, there's some stressful parts working with contractors and stuff, but man, it sure is fun to see a product come together like this and a house come together like this. It really is.
I've had several neighbors through on a consistent basis. They want to come inside and see how it's progressing. And they're all excited, and thanks for improving the property value in the neighborhood.
I had a buyer one time at a closing, and the wife was crying, and she said something to the effect of, "When I walked in the house, I just imagined raising my family there, and I'm just so excited." And that's cool to be able to take a house that nobody wants and make it a house that everybody wants.
This was the dog in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
The house across the street now holds the distinction of being the dog closest by anyways.
Yeah, now you're the nicest house in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Or up there.
Painting the brick in the front was one of the hardest decisions we had to make, because you paint brick or you don't paint brick, you don't get any in between.
But curb appeal is a big deal. I mean, if they pull up and don't like the way it looks, they're out of there, right?
Completely changed the whole look of the house.
Yeah.
Even when I was painting it this week, we painted it, what was it last? I guess I painted it Tuesday. I guess I painted it Tuesday of this week. I wasn't even sure I liked it until I pulled the paper off and realized, man, that looks great.
Yeah, it looks awesome. All right, well, thanks, Al. Thanks everybody, for listening.